a Russian unit on the move suddenly came to a halt. From behind the smoke and a line of trees emerged a massive armored silhouette. Not a T-72, not a BMP, but the unmistakable outline of an American-made Abrams tank seen for the first time actively engaging on the front lines in Ukraine. At first, the Russian troops thought it was just another armored vehicle. But one precise shot struck their BMP-3 from a distance. The explosion lifted the vehicle's hull, sending metal fragments flying in all directions. No warning, no time to react. In mere seconds, everything changed. Chaos erupted. At 8:07 a.m. in Kursk Oblast, high-resolution footage from Ukraine's 47th Mechanized Brigade captured a rare moment. Two of Ukraine's most lethal combat vehicles, the M1A1 Abrams tank and the M2A2 Bradley IFV, advancing side by side in a combat formation. Ahead of them, Russian positions lay hidden behind windbreaks, thick lines of trees used as natural cover. A Ukrainian reconnaissance drone hovering above recorded the moment the Abrams fired the first shot. The blast tore through the Russian position, setting off a wave of fire and flying debris. Seconds later, the Bradley to its left opened a sustained burst of 25mm rounds at the same location, hammering the enemy positions non-stop. No return fire, no radio chatter, only flashes of light and thick black smoke rising through the burning treetops. The Russians were not prepared for this. At 8:10, the gunfire stopped briefly. A Ukrainian drone climbed higher, scanning for movement. Beneath the thick tree canopy, the silhouettes of Russian troops began to emerge from foxholes. They were attempting to shift positions within the windbreaks, perhaps hoping to escape toward the farmlands behind them. But the Abrams had already repositioned. In less than 40 seconds, it fired again, this time from a new angle, flanking. From the north, the impact of the sabot round shook the ground, even captured by a thermal drone flying over a kilometer above. Each Abrams shot came roughly 12 to 15 seconds apart, just enough time to lock onto a new target. Ukraine wasn't just fighting, it was hunting. The M1A1 Abrams tanks deployed by Ukraine are export variants modified by the United States prior to delivery. Some electronic components were removed, but the Chasiv composite armor and targeting systems were retained. The Abrams is widely regarded as one of the most protected tanks in the world, and in the open terrain of Kursk and Chasiv, its superiority is undeniable. Each Abrams can fire kinetic energy sabot rounds at high speed, even while on the move. In this particular battle, reports say Abrams fired at least 5 rounds in under 6 minutes. Meanwhile, the Bradley IFV fired dozens of 25mm rounds, some aimed at infantry positions, others at lighter vehicles. Overhead, the surveillance drone remained airborne for more than 15 minutes, providing continuous visibility over the entire battlefield. At 8:17, two Russian vehicles attempted to escape to the northeast, but the route they took had been mined by Ukrainian troops the night before. A powerful blast shook the ground. One vehicle went up in flames. Drone footage showed Russian infantry scrambling from the tree line, some dropping their weapons, others diving into drainage ditches. By 8:21, the Abrams had relocated to a third firing position. It never stayed in one place for more than 5 minutes. Using a shoot-and scoot pattern, Abrams made it nearly impossible for Russian artillery or drones to lock on. One report claimed that from nearly 2 kilometers away, an Abrams landed a shot on a T-73 hiding behind an old warehouse. The resulting blast tore the turret from its mount, launching it several meters into the air before it crashed back down in flames. Critics have argued that Abrams is too large, too heavy, and too fuel-hungry for Ukrainian battlefields. But on that day, a single Abrams was enough to wipe out 3 fortified positions, destroy 2 armored vehicles, and force an entire Russian squad to retreat from the front. This is not a tank that charges blindly. Ukraine uses Abrams as a precision strike unit, deployed only when terrain, conditions, and intelligence align. With high mobility and thermal targeting, Abrams can acquire and engage a target in under 30 seconds. Even when Russia launched Lancet drones, Ukrainian jamming systems deployed around armored formations successfully disrupted their signals before they could lock onto targets. For the full 25-minute engagement, not a single Abrams unit suffered serious damage. At 8:24 a.m., a Ukrainian drone detected a small Russian infantry unit attempting to shift south across the field. They ran along the edge of dense shrubs, perhaps hoping to evade surveillance. But the thermal camera clearly picked up their body heat signatures. The Bradley moved closer, aiming its cannon toward the edge of the field. A short burst of fire was directed at the right flank of the formation, forcing the remaining Russian troops to drop flat to the ground. At the same moment, the Abrams fired its final round of sabot shell that struck a makeshift bunker hidden among the trees. The explosion collapsed most of the position. No further radio signals were picked up from that area for the next 5 minutes. The battlefield fell silent. Only a thin veil of black smoke slowly drifted over the field one that had just witnessed a clash between two generations of military technology. Total duration of the engagement, 25 minutes. But its impact went far beyond numbers. Russia didn't just lose vehicles, it lost initiative. The appearance of Abrams on the front lines isn't just symbolic. It's a message that Ukraine is now fighting with both technical superiority and tactical discipline. Is this the beginning of a new chapter on the battlefield? Will Ukraine now deploy Abrams tanks in larger formations? Or will Russia escalate with newer Kornet missiles and advanced Lancet drones in response? We'll continue monitoring developments in both Kursk and Chasiv. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications because in the coming hours, we may witness the next stage of this high-tech duel between American machines and Russian strategy.